Happy Sunday, my loves. I hope the week and weekend are treating you every bit as well as you treated it. Today, I wanted to bring you guys something a little bit different. Somewhere between a vlog and what I eat in a day, but instead of between 30 to 50 seconds, I thought I'd stretch this out a bit. Let's take our time. It's a Sunday, let's treat ourselves. One of you lovely folks left me a comment on a recent one of my what I eat in a day short videos, asking if I could kind of provide some breakfast ideas or some breakfast recipes, just some inspiration for just what on earth to shove down your gullet first thing in the morning. So here we are. In today's video, I want to take you through 7 days worth of breakfast that I ate over the course of the last week. Now, quick disclaimer that I am very much a sweet breakfast kind of girl. Savoury breakfast will show up now and again, I don't say no, but like most times of the day, first thing in the morning, what my body wants is lovely, sweet, comforting things. That doesn't mean to say that it's always chaotic, sometimes, but if there's fruit, if there's jam, if there's honey, if there's chocolate, that tempts me a lot more than if there's cheese or if there's bacon, you know? But I understand both ways. If you're relatively new to the channel, first of all, thank you for subscribing. It's a pleasure to have you sticking around. But a few years back, I did create a whole kind of breakfast recipe ebook, which I will link in the description box below. You can find it on my Etsy shop, and you can also find it on Amazon in kind of Kindle format, where I basically lay out lots of lovely, sweet and savoury breakfast ideas. But let me take you through just what I ate in a week for breakfast. Always tasty, always fulfilling, and mostly balanced and healthy. Let's go. As the weather is undoubtedly starting to get colder, we started off this week with some lovely chocolate hazelnut banana porridge. It's kind of in my blood as a Scot to crave porridge as soon as the chill starts to creep in. Because we don't have a microwave, and also because I quite enjoy the whole kind of, you know, therapeutic stirring process, I always make my porridge on the hob. I used this lovely chocolate hazelnut spread from Novi. Honestly, I think it tastes so much better than Nutella, and it's not even that much more expensive. So after cooking the oats with a little bit of just milk of any sort really, for a few minutes just until soft, I added the spread, then topped it with some sliced banana and a little bit more spread. It feels like dessert at breakfast time. I utterly adore this combination, and it will keep you full for hours. Day 2 was a little bit more chaotic. We had bought lots of these kind of individual, almost like hotel-sized cereals from Lidl because we had a couple of friends staying earlier that week. So, you know, that size itself is never particularly satisfying or filling for me for breakfast. I like to feel full in the mornings. So instead of just a bit of milk, I had a bowl of just regular plain yogurt, some sliced banana, and then cascaded a lovely pile of this choco rice, which really is just, you know, little off-brand Cocoa Pops. Not the most exciting breakfast I've ever had, but a nice kind of balanced, fulfilling combination of, you know, some protein, some carbs, some fat, and some lovely flavors all together, even if it was quite ugly. Day 3, and it was time to get back to porridge. I was feeling particularly groggy this morning, as you may be able to tell, and I needed something that was going to give me that kind of bomb of energy. I'd also bought far too many bananas this week, as you will see throughout the course of this video. So I combined it with one of my favourite ingredients ever, some peanut butter, and started by mashing up the bananas just to use as a kind of, you know, basic and cheap sweetener for the porridge without having to use honey or anything, and just kind of cooked it in with the oats and the milk just as I had earlier in the week, slicing up the rest to top our lovely porridge with. I also dusted a little bit of cinnamon through the porridge here, but don't tell Francesco because he doesn't really love cinnamon that much, before blobbing on some peanut butter, some banana slices, and just for me, because I love the kind of temperature and texture contrast, I also scattered over some lovely frozen berries. They had a really nice kind of sharpness to that creamy porridge and the sweet banana, and they go really well with peanut butter too. This was like autumn in a bowl. It's like a cuddle. It's so filling. It's so kind of wholesome. I absolutely adore having combinations like this for breakfast when I have the time, as you can see. And it's also a very good way to kind of warm yourself up if you haven't quite turned the heating on yet. On day 4, I fancied something a little bit quicker and easier. So after making my typical morning espresso, I grabbed that lovely chocolate hazelnut spread from Novi again and just some kind of basic sliced white bread. It's always the best for first thing in the morning. And I just spread it very thickly and generously with the spread. I can never, ever spread things like thinly and, sensibly. It always has to be about an inch thick. Before enjoying eating and slicing up the rest of this banana that was just about to turn a little too soft, if you know what I mean. So I just carefully arranged the slices on top before enjoying very much licking the remaining chocolate spread off of the knife and biting straight into this soft, squishy and particularly gooey breakfast. Some people prefer to toast their bread for things like this first, but I quite like how kind of soft and sandwichy the whole thing feels. Speaking of sandwichy, day 5 I turned to a kind of North American classic that I've been obsessed with ever since I was a teenager. So I grabbed the same peanut butter from earlier in the week, the same bread from the day before, still nice and soft because this kind always is, even after weeks. I added a lovely generous layer of wonderful peanut butter. Now this is kind of the unsweetened peanut butter, so it's got a nice kind of salty savouriness to it, and added a big good old healthy blob of some raspberry jam on top, the kind with the seeds, because I quite like the crunch it gives, before sandwiching it with another piece of just some soft sliced white bread and enjoying this wonderfully, again, squishy and gooey breakfast that is somehow still relatively balanced in terms of nutrition. It's a school kid favourite and I can totally understand why. Also, it's probably one of my favourite vegan meals. Make of that what you will, but it's one I can never get enough of. That sweet and salty combination is just so good, especially first thing in the morning. Wakes up your whole mouth. Day 6 was a day of enjoying some lovely leftovers. So this, I know it looks super fancy, it was some Argentinian chocotorta that I had made the day before as part of the Desserts of the World series. The video will be up on the channel very soon, and there was so much left of it, both sliced and unsliced, that I just couldn't resist putting all of the day before's hard work into my breakfast. This is essentially layers of soaked kind of chocolate biscuits with a combination of mascarpone and homemade dulce de leche. Insane. Honestly, for my taste, could have done with some more dulce de leche, but that's on me. And day 7, just for a little bit of a change, for some colour and for some balance, I decided to make myself a super cheap and lovely smoothie. I grabbed the same frozen berries I'd used earlier in the week, and I don't really have a blender at the moment, so I just kind of used like one of those immersion blenders you would use for soup. So I piled in probably 2 handfuls of berries, some soy milk, but any kind of milk works here, as well as some yogurt to help use it up and to kind of make it a bit more satisfying. And for a bit more sweetness, I also added some jam because frozen berries can be very sour sometimes. And after blitzing this up and making far too much of it, as I always do, I poured it into a lovely big tall glass. And even though it wasn't really kind of the summery weather that smoothies normally need, this was great. Really refreshing, thirst quenching, and probably one of the most delicious ways to shove several handfuls of fruit into your system in one go. But that is it for my breakfast this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have gotten some inspiration, some ideas, or even just a little bit of comfort in those past 5 to 8 minutes. Thank you so much as always for watching. Don't forget to check out the breakfast book if you get a chance, and I will see you for the next one.